Hello everybody and welcome to this new episode of this LUMION course in where we are going to talk about post-production. As you already know, post-production is beyond this course because we would need another software in order to do it. In my case, Photoshop. In any case, through this class we will see the most important aspects of it. We will start by opening one of our LUMION files and we will go to one of the images that we have already worked with. Once here, through the layer visibility effect, I will hide the trees in order to watch the sky. I will adjust the position of the sun just for having a different view, and I'll go to render. Here we'll go directly to the additional output tool and we will mark all the different maps: the depth map, the normal map, the specular reflection map, the lighting map, the sky alpha map, and the material ID map. We will have a general look about all of them in Photoshop. Finally, it's high time for render our image, so click on desktop, we will choose a folder and we will put a name, in this case number 1. Once the render is complete, we will find these 7 images. Number 1 will be our main image. Let's open it, and then we will find the depth map, the lighting map, the material ID map, the normal map, the sky alpha map, and the specular map. We will have to open all of them in Photoshop. Once we have all of our images open in Photoshop, we should place all of them in the same file. We have different ways for doing this. Here I will show you, for example, this one. I'll go to one image, in this case the depth map. I'll go to its layer. First of all, I have to unlock the layer. Click on the right side of the mouse, duplicate layer, and here put a name, in this case depth, and choose a destination, number 1. Okay, and then if we go to our image number 1, we'll find in our layer menu a new layer called depth. We will have to repeat this operation for all the images. Once this operation is complete, we will find in our main image 6 different layers apart of our background layer, which we will have to first of all unlock. From this point on, we will start working on our post-production. First of all, I recommend you to copy this background layer, layer number 0. Maybe we can change the name and call it, for example, main image. And we will copy this layer and we will place it on the top. Then we will hide it and we'll leave this copy just here in order to be able to compare our final result with this original image, which is our, let's say, our start point. Then let's start using this specular map. Firstly, I will make visible just this layer, pressing Alt while I click on the eye, and then I will make visible as well the main image, just these both images. You must know that the specular map is working just on the reflections. So all the materials with some reflections applied on LUMION here will be affected by this map. An easy way for working with this specular map could be go here to the blend mode, unfold it, and then use this third area, this third sector. Lighten, screen, color dots, linear dots, or lighter color. You have to play with all of them and try to choose which one of them fits better. As you can see, some of them make a very radical change, but others could give us a better result. For example, in this case, I think that a screen is making our reflections more intense, so I will choose it, and then we could play with the opacity in case that we want to reduce that intensity. Take notice that we can always use the eye in order to watch our main image without this map or with the map. As I told you, I think that with this screen blend mode is getting better our final image, but we have to reduce the intensity. So I'll go, for example, to 25%. Let's jump now to the sky alpha map. So I will hide the specular map and I will show the sky alpha map. As you can see on the screen, here we have 2 colors, black and white. Through the white color, this map is telling us what part of the image is the sky. So it gives us the opportunity to select that sky in a very easy way in case that we want to change it. So let's do it. First of all, we should go to the internet. Once here, type in sky, images, tools, size, big. Then here we will have to select one sky, for example this one, right click, copy image, and once in Photoshop again, I will paste that image here. So I have a new layer, layer number 1. I will place this layer next to the sky alpha layer. I'll select the sky alpha, and here I will use, for example, the magic wand tool in order to select this white color. I'll unselect this contiguous option. I click again on the white color. The tolerance is correct, more or less. And then I'll have to go to my new sky layer. And once here, I could create a mask. I'll hide the sky alpha layer now. And as you can see, right now we have a new sky. If I unlink the layer and the mask, I could play with that sky. Let's place it, for example, here with many clouds, because I don't want a very strong blue sky at the background. Next map is called normal. The normal map is talking about the textures. And according to my experience, it is a map which is not worth working too much on it. In fact, it is worked normally in After Effects, not in Photoshop. So I recommend you to work hardly on Lumion with the textures and forget about this normal map in post-production. Let's jump now to the next map, in this case material ID. So I will hide this normal map and I will show the material ID. Here we are. Like with the sky alpha map, here we find different colors which are created just for simplify our selections. So if we want to change any material, we can select any color easily and change the properties of that material. For example, we'll do it with these two chairs. I will use the magic tool again, tolerance 40 in this case, for example. I will click on here. The selection seems okay, but I have here more things selected. So I'll click on here, subtract from selection, and I will deselect all of this part. Here we are. Now I will hide my material ID layer. I'll click on my main image layer, and I will create an adjustment layer. In this case, for example, I will use the hue saturation adjustment layer. Once its menu appears, I have to click on this option, which means that this adjustment will affect just to the layer just below. I click on here, and then I can easily change the hue of that chairs if I want them in another color. I could use as well the saturation slider if I want to reduce the intensity of that color and make the chairs in this case more white. Let's leave it like that. Next map is called lighting. I will click on it, and here we can see our image just focused on the illumination. The areas with more light are the areas with the more pure whites, and the areas with more shadows are the areas with the darkest blacks. In the middle we can find different grays. In my opinion, this is a very interesting map. We can use it easily like we did with the Specular Map, just using the blend menu. First of all, we have to select it and then unfold the blend menu, and I recommend you to use this fourth sector. Here you will have to pay attention which option is the best: overlight, soft light, hard light, vivid light, linear light, pin light, and hard mixed. Normally, overlight or soft light are the best ones. Let's use this overlay blend mode, and then we will play with the opacity. 30% for example, and we can have a look about how it was before and how is it with this effect, before and after. As you can see, the areas with illumination have more illumination right now, and the shadows as well are more powerful, more intense. We have more contrasts. Our next map is called depth map. Here it is. This map is made by a transition from the most pure white, and its number could be 255, till the most pure black, which is at the background. In the middle we find all the different gray scale, from 255 till 0, which is placed in the farthest position. This map is used just for focus some areas and blur others. In my opinion, it is not very useful, and it is a little bit complicated to use it. First of all, I will make a copy of this main image. You will understand later why. I will place it here next to depth, and I will change the name to depth mode. Then I'll go to the depth layer. I will select all by clicking Ctrl A, and I'll click on this tab, channels, and here I will create a new channel, this alpha number 1. I will change the name to depth channel, and then I'll click Ctrl V to paste my depth layer. I'll go back to the layer menu, and once here I will make this depth layer invisible, and I'll click on the depth mode layer. I will deselect everything by Ctrl D, and then I'll go to filter. I'll use a filter called blur, and here lens blur. Once the filter is opened, I'll go to source, and here I will select my depth channel. Then the first plane will be occupied by the white colors, and they will be blur, and the black colors at the background will be the most focused ones. If I want to change this, I can click on here, invert, and then the first plane is very well focused and the background is so blurred. Another option here is to use this tool, set focal point, and choose one element of my image, for example this chair, and then the chair will be the main focal point and everything around will be a little bit blurred. If I am happy with the result, I will click on OK, and I'll go back to my main image. And here we can see our main image with this blur influence. You must know that if we use the filters, we can't go back that easily than when we used the adjustment layer. This is a destructive way of working. That is the reason because I made a copy of my main image before, because this way I can hide this layer and I still have the main image protected in case that I don't like this blur effect. So now we have just finished with all of our maps and we can see all together. The specular on, sky alpha on, lighting on, and the depth mode on. This would be the result, and this was before, after, and before. As you can see, the depth map, it doesn't improve the image, so I will hide it. So this would be our final result without the depth mode active, and this would be the previous image, the original one. Previous and after. Previous and after. So once we have arrived to this point, it would be time for playing with the adjustment layers. Here we should go to this specular layer because it is placed on the top just below the main image copy, and here we will start using, for example, this level adjustment layer. Through this adjustment layer we can make blacks more blacks, playing with this slider, and whites more whites, just moving this slider to the left. If we don't like it, we can always hide this adjustment layer. This is the reason because it's called a non-destructive mode of working. We could use as well the exposure and type here a value like 0.05 in order to increase a little bit the exposure. We could add as well a hue saturation adjustment layer, and here I recommend you to decrease the saturation of the image a little bit. Let's go for example to -20 and we can check before and after. I think it's getting better without that saturation. We could add as well a photo filter. We have here warm filters and cold filters depending on our taste. Let's play this warming filter 85, and then here I will reduce the intensity till 10, more or less 10%, and in my opinion these 4 adjustment layers are the most important ones. We can check again our start point clicking on the main image copy, and then after all of our work. I think there is an improvement before, after. More things that we can do in this post-production phase. We can erase things that we don't want to be in our image. For example, this lamp. This lamp could be a mistake and we don't want it anymore in our image. It's clear that it is not right here. So we should go to our main image, then select the correct tool in Photoshop. In this case, I will use the spot healing brush tool. I will increase the size of this brush, and just by clicking on here, this lamp should be disappear, but it's not. The reason is because if we want to make this kind of operation, we should combine all the layers all together first. So we should be so sure about that this is our final result, that we are happy with this image. I will select all my layers from this first one to the last one, click on the right button, merge layers. As you can see, this is a kind of destructive mode of working, because we can't go back easily. But it is supposed that we are so sure about that we are happy with this result. So now, if I use again my spot healing brush tool and I click on here, it will disappear completely and my roof will be definitely clean. Apart of erasing things, I could add elements as well. You have a folder called Silhouettes in where we will find different PNG files which can be used here in order to compose a more artistic photomontage. I will open one of them. Here we are, we have this photographer. I'll drag it to my main image. I will scale it, and then maybe I could use a black-white adjustment layer just to the layer below, and I could change a little bit the opacity. Here we are, so we can add people, cats, childs, bikes, whatever you can imagine to make your image in Photoshop more and more artistic. Finally, by clicking on here, I could change the shape of my canvas, doing the image like more a square or more panoramic, depending on my taste or my interest. So as you can see, we can do many things in this post-production phase. I hope that you have been able to follow me in Photoshop. In case that you want to learn more about this program, I have a course which could be interested for you. We finish here this class and I hope to see you in the next episode.